Welcome back to another exciting Recon. Last week we had a short, simple scratch race in Watopia. This time the script has been flipped and we're heading to Mercury Islands for a long, technical points race with 8 sprint segments over 36 kilometers. Let's get into this week's Recon. So yes, welcome back to this Recon from Mercury Islands Island Hopper route. We're doing 2 laps of this technical course for all categories. This includes the boardwalk sprint, tide pool sprint and the Shisha sprint on each lap for plenty of first across the line and fastest through segment points. We're going to deep dive into the details of the sprints, but also the 2 smallish climbs which come back to back in between 2 sprint segments. Racing time for this is going to be anywhere between 40 minutes for the fastest teams and 1 hour plus for those lower category racers. However, first of all, before we get into bike choices and power-ups, last week I said we were going to be launching a competition, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So to be in with a chance of winning not only this lovely Zwift and Wahoo merchandise that I've got here, but also for you to have your kit design made into real life cycling clothing, then this is what you need to do. So you know, at Level Velo we design, produce and manufacture custom cycle clothing for clubs and teams all over the world, as well as retailing our regular range of indoor cycling apparel. Well, we want you to design a jersey. Send in your designs to the email using the link in the description, and we could be making your kit design in real life. It doesn't matter if you're a designer or not. If you use software or you simply scribble your design down on a bit of paper, color it in and send it in to us. We're going to select the top 3 designs sent in, and then we're going to put it to a vote. The winning design will not only be made into real life kit for you to wear, but we could possibly manufacture and sell that design for the rest of the community members too, to purchase over on Level Velo's website. You can use whatever you want as your inspiration. Maybe your team colours. Maybe take your inspiration from Zwift and virtual cycling platforms. Maybe it's the Tron bike that inspires your design. Go crazy. Go traditional. But if you have an idea and want possibly to see that jersey made into reality, then send it in for this competition. Details are available using the link down in the description. Alright, that's exciting. Now let's get on with this Recon. Bike choice is simple for this one. Go aero. Yes, there is some dirt. Yes, there's some climbs, but not enough of either to have a big enough impact. So go full aero with wheels and frame, link in the description. Again, for a great tool to check those aero bikes is available at your level. In terms of power-ups, it's aero, feather and draft for this one. So what I call the originals and all great useful power-ups throughout this route, and especially for those sprint segments. The one which you will have to be more cautious around is the Shisha sprint, which has an 800 to 900 meter climb before the segment. And there could be some opportunity there to pick up some FAL using that feather power up as you launch an early attack up that climb. I've seen this happen many occasions on that particular segment. Again, we'll take a look at that once we get onto the course. Okay, as always, the Recon Notes are done and available this time over on Level Velo community pages, and there's a link down in the description below. I promise you, they're definitely there on time this time. The Recon Notes have all the segments highlighted over both laps with distance markers, power-up points, and are really useful when raced to either have on the screen or print out, which is what I do. Before we get on course, if you're enjoying this content, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments down below. I'm really enjoying the chat down there in the chat section at the moment, and plus the engagement really helps the channel. Okay, so this footage was from the recent Tour of Zwift. So although it's a group ride, we all know it's going to finish in a sprint to the finish line anyway. Don't worry though, I also double checked the distances for the second lap, and that's all up to date on those Recon Notes. Anyway, we're going to leave the pens and head towards the brightly lit virtual start finish banner and head out of the industrial area and head towards the Festival Harbour boardwalks, where at kilometre 1.6 we'll take on the first sprint segment of the race. So this is a 350 metre sprint, which is a very slight incline at 1%. It's very early in the race, and I do expect both FAL and FTS to be contested hard on this first lap. It's then reasonably flat terrain to try and recover as we head towards the sprint number 2, which is the tide pool sprint, which we do take on twice per lap. Lap 1 at kilometre 5.1. Lap 2, the first time of asking, is at kilometre 23. The tide pool sprint, 350 metres. It's flat, and both of these sprints you'll be collecting power-ups. So ensure to use the power-up because they will come thick and fast on this course. Even if you're not contesting the sprint points, remember to always push on the sprint as groups could split, and it may be harder to chase back on to that lead group. Okay, so this is where the course gets a little bit harder with two draggy back-to-back climbs in between the tide pool sprint and the Shisha sprint. So first climb at kilometre 6.5 through to kilometre 7.7 on lap 1. We get this climb, which I note riders often push to try and reduce that group size and thin out that peloton. Then again, kilometre 8.8. This is the longer of the two climbs, a bit harder. This leads up to the Shisha sprint. This is where I do expect some teams and riders to push the pace and launch some early attacks to try and take FAL points on the fast approaching Shisha sprint. Remember, once the elastic snaps on this climb, it could be difficult to get back into that group, especially on tired legs on lap 2. The climb is 800 to 900 meters long. It averages around 4%, but it does pitch up to 6% in places. This is where the action will take place at its most intense, in my opinion. Once you get to the top of that climb, it's only 800 meters to the start of the Shisha sprint. The Shisha sprint is going to start at kilometer 10.4. Again, it's 300 meters, FTS and FTL points available. After the sprint, you then descend and head towards the second time through of the tide pool sprint for more point action. So again, tide pool sprint comes at 15.3 and then 33.2 on lap 2. Incidentally, on the second lap after the tide pool sprint, the finish line is only 1400 meters away, so it's going to be grueling finishing sprint amongst those riders who also contest that tide pool sprint. Anyway, at the end of lap 1 at kilometer 18, you roll through again to take on lap 2, and it's rinse and repeat all over again. So lots of points opportunities on this course, and again it's back-to-back sprint, and I think the two places to really stay alert and be prepared to dig deep is the climb up to the Shisha and then this final sprint, which comes within 1400 meters of that tide pool sprint. I'm going to play the whole course through again at the end of this video. I hope you have found it useful. Don't forget to enter the competition, like, subscribe, leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next week for another Zwift Racing League Recon.